Welcome back inside the shoe. Aaron Cox live here on the Bears Sports Network, sitting down with Lenoir-Rhyne head women's basketball coach Katie Pate after Coach, a nail-biter of a game. You guys were up by 20 points in the first half. Thought, might relax and save the blood pressure this game. Ends up being a 2-point game. You guys hold on 76-74.
That's impossible. There's no way that they're going to try to save my blood pressure. This is torture. It's intentional.
Well, I guess two completely different halves. We were talking right before we went on the air here. You guys look so good, especially offensively in that first half. Everybody was hitting buckets, especially Justice Swingo from downtown. The defense looked great. You held a good scoring Catawba College team against 23 points. And you knew a counterpunch was coming, but, boy, that was a big counterpunch. It ended up being a real tight game.
They've just got a lot of great scoring threats. This is a team that in Catawba who's very capable of competing for a league championship. They took LMU at LMU to 4 points, and they demanded absolutely 100% of our respect. We talked about it at halftime. There was no way that they were going to come out and play the same way that they did in the first half. We held up the end of the bargain on our offensive end and did some nice job defensively in the second quarter. But they're too talented. Bree Johnson and Serena Brown, and obviously Terry Rogers, who's arguably one of the best forwards in the league. They're just not going to go down lightly, especially coming off the Mars Hill loss at the end.
So from a coaching standpoint, you had this huge lead. It did get all the way down to tied at 68 all. There was a lot of timeouts there down the stretch. So when you've got that time to talk to your team, the lead is gone. How do you plug the dam and get them to hold on for a W?
Well, I'll tell you, the person that plugged the dam today was Morgan Cooper. She took over one of the timeouts. Maybe a good thing that there were no cameras down there, and she basically just let her teammates know that what we're doing is unacceptable. That we've got to make a decision here and get some stops, control, get a rebound, get a bucket. Great senior leadership from her, and just really kind of picking everybody up and saying, "Hey, snap out of it, guys." I think anytime that there's a great quote. I think it's Shane Battier talks about a team-led team are the teams that really have the ultimate success. It's the coach-led teams that when we run into little incidences like this where somebody's making a run and we can't get a stop, when you have a senior player step up like that, it's pretty special.
Well, Cooper had a good all-around game, 10 points, also ducked in 4 assists, 4 rebounds. The main player for you offensively tonight, though, was Justice Swingo. She was 6 for 8 from downtown. She came in with 15 threes all year long, hit 6 tonight, finishes with a game-high 19 points.
Well, I think, and she had another great game a few games ago, but we talked a lot about. In fact, I ran into her dad and her family at dinner on Saturday night, and we talked about that little hesitation that a lot of our shooters had against Lincoln Memorial on Saturday, where it was just kind of, should I shoot it? Should I shoot it? I said, come on, just step up and hit the thing. We know you can, and it was really great for her to her timing, her tempo, and I think probably most importantly, the shot selection of those 8 threes were absolutely on point and within our offensive set. So I was really pleased, yes, that she made them, but even more so that she's recognizing where and when we need them.
Chelsea Romero also with a great game, 16, but she's been getting more and more in foul trouble. That was an issue tonight. You had to sit her for almost the whole third quarter. Is that something I'm sure you've talked to her about?
Well, and I think we've talked about that. We talked about late we made the defensive adjustment on Terry Rogers and we went to fronting in the post versus playing behind. When any team has a good forward, they're absolutely going to throw the ball at there. I mean, they're going to roll the dice to see if they can't get Romero on the bench with a couple fouls early. So we've got to do a little bit better job pressuring guards and passers. And then, of course, Chelsea meeting players in transition defense is always going to help her, so we got to get back just a little bit quicker.
Obviously a big win for you guys.
Huge.
You've been so good at home this year, but you dropped the last 2. You get a rebound one in your final kind of a 3-game home split. So in your opinion, how big was tonight's game?
Probably the biggest win of the season so far.
Okay.
We were up at their place, played them on December 31st. We had a 10-point lead going into the last 3 minutes. Played the let's play not to lose game. They took the lead with 46 seconds left in the game. It's the only lead that they had, and we lost. So this is extremely important in the grand scheme of things. Had no way that we could drop 3 games in a row at home. That's just not something that the Bears are ever going to talk about. But setting up in terms of as we're kind of heading into this final stretch with 7 games left in conference play, this is one that you had to get.
Well, you mentioned right before we went on air, this will be the last question. You talked about giving the girls a little bit of extra downtime in between Saturday's game and today. You got another one coming up Saturday. Is that something you're thinking about doing again?
I think so. I think at this point in the season, everybody sees our bench is we're running 7, maybe 8 players, and that's pretty much everywhere. This is what starts to happen as you get into February and the final stretch. But I think management of legs and minds and things like that really starts to become a factor at this point. It's not something, I've always kind of been, let's tough it out, and I much prefer a win than losing by a point because we have no legs to make a defensive stop. So we'll talk with the trainers and put together a management plan for this week going into a very scrappy Tusculum game.
Lenoir-Rhyne head women's coach Katie Pate, congratulations on a great win tonight, Coach.
Great. Thanks. Go Bears.
Winning tonight, Lenoir-Rhyne, but final score 76-74 here on the Bears Sports Network.